Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to auditing class. And we are on our last lecture for live virtual revisionary classes. And we'll be doing chapter number 9 and chapter number 11 today. And I am very excited to do these two chapters. They are very different from the first module chapters. And I hope that you have revised a little at your home. You have studied this chapter at least once so that you can get maximum benefit out of this lecture. So without much further ado, let's start the class. Sit upright, don't lie down on the bed. Sit upright properly. Keep book, notebook, pen, paper in hand. Keep your water bottle in hand, and let's get started. So I hope I am audible, visible, all that is clear. And as usual, before we start with the theory and all the theory answers, let me give you a quick one-pointer recap of the chapter, and you can answer the questions that I ask. All right. So firstly, I want to ask you this question that in case of government audits, who is usually the authority for appointing auditors? In government audits, who is usually the authority for appointing auditors? Quickly let me know. In government audits. Okay, I've received one answer. Anyone else? Two answers I have received. Okay. So CAG, absolutely correct. Comptroller and Auditor General of India. To give you a quick review first of the chapter, let me first give you a quick synopsis. So we will be first doing chapter number 9. The reason I say that chapter number 9 is very special because after you have learned all the concepts of auditing, that what is audit evidence, what are assertions, what is audit planning, chapter 9 is a place where you get to apply it as an entity that आपने ऑडिट सीखा बट उसको अलग अलग टाइप की एंटिटीज हाउ डू यू अप्लाई इट इन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट एंटिटीज सो इन चैप्टर नंबर 9 you study about government audits. You study about cinema, you study about LLP, sole proprietor, partnership. You study about NGOs, local bodies. Then you study about educational institution, hotel, hospital, club. Okay. Like this, you study about various different kind of entities that exist and how do you do audit for them. It can also include lease. So the list is actually endless, but the chapter 9 is trying to introduce you to the concept that as an auditor, when you go, what are the different entities you can audit. Now, out of the whole chapter, this part, and this part has some specific theory points that you need to learn properly, understand properly. And when you talk about cinema, NGO, educational institution, hospital, hotel, club, they use more application method where you have to think that, okay, if it's a hotel, the main thing to check would be the sale or the room rent received or the salaries paid to the worker. Okay. So all of these things, the rest of the audit is lot of practical based, lot of concept based, lot of understanding based, that if you have a good understanding and if you're able to think like an auditor, you'll be able to do the chapter well and you'll be able to write it well. This is also a chapter that needs a lot of writing practice. If you just keep reading it again and again, you will not reach your optimum potential. For you to be able to get a really good marks in this chapter, it's really important that especially things like cinema, local bodies, educational institution, hotel, hospital, club, lease, hire, purchase, all these things, you sit down and you write down and recall the points as much as possible. Otherwise, पढ़ते टाइम तो लगेगा सब समझ में आ गया, but samajhna is not equal to writing. I have given you this example before also, that if I have a newspaper like Times of India in my hand or the Economic Times, I read the whole newspaper, I understood the whole newspaper, does not mean I can reproduce an article or a headline. लिखने से लर्न होता है, ये एक प्लेन सिंपल फिलॉसफी है. ओके, so just by reading and understanding does not mean you will be able to write an exam. So please keep in mind that just reading like a novel is not going to help you to write better. That will also cause problem that you feel blank out हो गए. बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स बोलते हैं मैम समझते टाइम तो सब समझ में आ गया बट लिखते टाइम ब्लैंक हो गए, बिकॉज आपने सिर्फ समझा, लिखने की प्रैक्टिस नहीं की. मैं अगर टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया का न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ूं, इफ आई रीड अ टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया न्यूज़पेपर, देयर might be 30-40 pages in it and I can read it in 1 hour, I can understand it in another half an hour. Fully I've understood today's edition of Times of India newspaper, but today Balamurgan or Astha asks me, ma'am, you read the whole Times of India, you understood the whole Times of India, can you write down one article from Times of India? Can I write it down? No, I can't write it down. To be able to write, you need to do writing practice. Just listening, understanding is not enough. So please focus on this chapter on a lot of writing practice. You can definitely get marks. Okay. So yeah, this is the chapter. Okay. I'll again revise a few points first and then we will go to the theory. So a few points I'll take up. So I asked about government audit. You said that C&AG is usually responsible for appointment of auditors. Now, who is responsible for the appointment of C&AG? Can someone tell me quickly? Who is responsible for appointment of C&AG? जल्दी जल्दी बताइए. Very good, Balamurugan. President of India. Fastest fingers first. Pooja, you are also absolutely correct. President of India. Now, what is the salary or emoluments of a C&AG? उसके लिए आपको एक फिगर नहीं दिया है, बट आपको एक सेंटेंस दिया है बुक में. What is usually the salary of C&AG? It is equivalent to the Supreme Court judge. Okay, it is equivalent to a Supreme Court judge. Okay. Now you tell me that in case of government audit, whether revenue is the more focus area or expenditure audit is the more focus area. What is the more focus area? Expenditure audit or revenue audit? Very good, expenditure audit. Then in expenditure audit, under which type of expenditure audit do we focus on compliance of rules and regulations? Under which type of expenditure audit do we focus on the compliance of rules and regulations? Which is that? What is the name? Kuldeep, try to write the full name. You have written half name. If we try to, in under expenditure audit, if we try to audit as per the rules, if we are checking compliance कि भाई जो भी खर्चा हुआ है लीगली हुआ है, एज पर रूल्स हुआ है, तो उस ऑडिट को क्या बोलते हैं? Very good, Kuldeep. Rules and order audit. Sometimes it's also called as regularity audit. If I have to see that even if it's legal, but whether the expense has been unnecessary and wasteful, then what type of audit it is? If I have to look into the common sense of the expenditure and check whether it was wasteful or useful. Very good, Kuldeep. Very good, Astha. Propriety audit. Very good. If I have to check that whether all the expenses done were efficient and effective, if I have to check effectiveness, efficiency, then which audit it is? Absolutely correct, Balamurgan. Absolutely correct, Astha. Absolutely correct, Pooja. Performance audit. Very good. If I have to check that the expenditure has been done after taking proper approvals, then which type of audit it is? The expense has been done after proper approvals. Very good. Audit of sanction, that is sanction audit. Now, which audit did I not cover? What is the last remaining audit? Which one did I not cover? Provision. Audit against provision of funds. Very good, both of you, Bala and Pooja. Okay. So, like this, if you sit together, I also say that audit is a very good thing to revise in a group. So if you can create a group of 3 4 good friends, even if it's like a small online group that you can create for yourself, if you have some friends around you, each of you can do this flashcard. इसको कहते हैं हम flashcard studying. What is flashcard studying, students? जहां पे आप जैसे imagine करो, you imagine that you have a deck of cards, okay? But हर card पे, on each card you have written one question. Then you shuffle the card and take one question, and whichever question comes, you have to answer it. So it's a very fun way, a good way to revise a lot of important points. You can use that for any subject. It's a very, very good way of studying, good way of revising actually. Initially, you can't use, you can only use it for revision. So that is one part. LLP. Ma'am, appointment and removal of CAG as per Supreme Court judge. No, you cannot use this sentence. Only the, what to say, only the salary of C&AG is as per Supreme Court judge. Okay. But otherwise, we will not use this sentence. Appointment is very clearly by president, and removal is when both houses of the parliament is present and at least 2/3 are voting. So there is a very specific sentence. So please don't use this sentence, Astha, in exam. Okay. Do not use the sentence appointment and removal of C&AG is as per Supreme Court judge. No, don't use this sentence. It's not given in the book also. Okay. All right. Now, one or two more questions I'll take and then we'll go to the theory. Does anyone remember that under how many various acts can NGO be registered? Under how many acts can NGO be registered? Do you know there are different types of NGOs, right? So there are three main types of NGO. So what are those three NGOs, or what are those three acts under which an NGO can get registered? Trust Act, correct? Okay. Second, very good, Astha. Trust Society and Section 8 of Companies Act. Very quick typing. Good, good, Astha. So all three are correct. Trust Society and Section 8 of company. But what if an NGO wants to get foreign funds? Then where does NGO have to go? Under which act they have to register? If NGO wants to receive foreign funding, very good, FCRA Act. FCRA Act you have to register. Good. Foreign Contribution Act. Good. Foreign Contribution Regulations Act. Then another question I'll ask is related to LLP. So in LLP, within how many days you have to submit annual return? In LLP, within how many days you have to submit annual return? Quickly tell me. Very good, Kuldeep. 60 days. In an LLP, you have to submit annual return within 60 days. Can anyone tell which form? Under which form you have to submit this? Under which form you have to? Form 11. Absolutely correct, Astha. Then which form you have to submit statement of account and solvency? Under which form you have to submit? Form 8. Very good. So this I wanted to do a quick revision. Rest you will see is individual based. So we will do it during the revision. Okay, let's start. I forgot to add one point here, cooperative societies, of course. If I have to run a cooperative society in multiple states, in more than one state, then which act is applicable? Write down the full name of the act. If I have to run cooperative societies in more than one state, then which act is applicable? Write down the full name. Write down the full name, please. With the year, what is the year of that act? I want the year also. Yes, three of you have given answer, but I want with the year. Multi-State Cooperative Society Act 2002. Good. अब नहीं भूलोगे आप. Okay. Now you will remember 2002. Okay. Multi-State Cooperative Society Act. All right. Okay. So this is the basic starting warm-up exercise. Warm-up exercise हो गई सबकी आज की क्लास के लिए. Can I start with questions now? Let's start with the questions now. Asta is asking, ma'am, LLP audit is not applicable to. Batao, which turnover? What is the turnover? If LLP audit you don't want to apply, what is the turnover limit? 40. And what is the capital contribution limit? What is the capital contribution limit? 25 lakhs. Okay, very good. So it does not apply if your, what is the exact sentence? I'll just tell you. Whose turnover does not exceed in any financial year 40 lakhs or whose contribution does not exceed 25 lakhs if not required to get his account board to be satisfied. Understood? Okay. Let's get to chapter number 9, question number 1. No inspection under Section 79 of Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 can be made unless a notice has been given to multi-state cooperative society. Explain clearly when and how such inspection can be made. Also state the powers available with central registrar in this regard, along with provisions related to communication of inspection. Okay, let's see the answer. Pay attention, everyone. So what is the question about? Inspection. Inspection of whom? Multi-State Cooperative Society 2002. Okay, pay attention please. So when there is a multi-state cooperative society, अगर आपको confusion हो कि भाई central registrar करेगा या कोई और करेगा, in question itself it is given that central registrar. Okay, so who has the power? Firstly, don't get confused. The question itself is giving you central registrar has power. Okay, but when does central registrar do it? So if you see the question, it is saying when and how such inspection can take place and state the powers available. So there are 3 questions, that when and how this inspection can happen and what are the powers. Now tell me, is this a type 1 question, type 2 question or a type 3 question? Can everyone tell me quickly? I have told you this concept in past 3 lectures already. So what is a type 1 question, type 2 question, type 3 question? Very straightforward. It's a type 1 question. So if you have read the book, if you know the answer, you can write the answer. So central registrar can take the responsibility. What does it say? When can he do that? So just write when. So when can he do that? When he receives a request. I am telling you all the keywords. When he receives a request. Request from whom? Request from either first a federal cooperative to which multi-state cooperative society is affiliated. Okay. Second, a creditor, remember this, a creditor or not less than 1/3 members of board, not members of society, okay, members of board, or not less than 1/5 members of multi-state cooperative society. देखो, पहले तो इसको याद कैसे करना है? How do you remember something like this? If a society is being run, okay, and someone wants some inspection to be done, who are the people usually associated with a society? सोसाइटी में या तो मेंबर्स होते हैं और मेंबर्स से भी ऊपर होता है एक मैनेजिंग कमिटी. ओके, सो या तो मेंबर्स की कंप्लेंट जाएगी, इधर मेंबर्स विल कंप्लेन और अ बोर्ड विल कंप्लेन, और एनीवन हु हैज गिवन मनी and who society owes money to them, creditor will complain. So ये 3 तो बड़े common sense. It is out of logic and common sense. Only one thing is special, that is a little different, is federal cooperative to which MSCS is affiliated. So पहले first 3 let's try to remember. Who can give a complaint to get inspection done? Not less than 1/5 member of the society, not less than 1/3 member of the board. ये सब और है. Okay, A creditor means even if you are a 100 rupee creditor, 1000 rupee creditor, a creditor, any creditor can complain. Or a federal cooperative to which multi-state cooperative society is affiliated. Can anyone tell me the meaning of the first point? Anyone would like to try? Anyone would like to try? You can raise your hand. I'll allow you to speak if you want to, else you can send in the chat. I'll wait for a few seconds.
मैम जिससे वो सोसाइटी रजिस्टर्ड है वो अगर कंप्लेंट करते तो
मुझे नाम नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, कौन बोल रहा है? पूजा बोल
मैम
रही है।
पूजा
हाँ ओके, आपका नाम ऊपर आया नहीं, आप बोलने लगे तब। ओके हाँ पूजा, क्या बोल रहे थे? सॉरी, वापस बोलिए।
मैम जो सोसाइटी जहाँ पे रजिस्टर्ड है अगर वहां से कंप्लेंट आ जाए तो इंस्पेक्शन जरूरी हो जाता है
ओके
फर्स्ट में।
okay, thank you. So I'll give you a small example. Let's say if you are a milk-based company, let's say your name is some random Chintu Milk Company, okay? You have a Chintu Milk Company. Now you are affiliated to Dairy Milk Farmers Association, or you are affiliated to Farmers Service Society, okay? So you are affiliated to some central organization that is thinking that the way you are operating is causing problem to the whole dairy farming community. So then on complaint of that federal society, the registrar can take an action against an individual society. Okay. So request from federal cooperative to which you are affiliated, a creditor, or not less than 1/3 members of the board, or not less than 1/5 members of multi-state cooperative society. Okay. So by these people can do this. But second question kya hai? How can such inspection be done? Up, let's answer the how. How can it be done? You can either give a general order or a special order. Just remember, it can be either a general order or a special order. What is a general order? It can be an order given by central registrar that all the cooperative societies with turnover of more than 25 rupees are under inspection. That is called as a general order. Special order means specifically my society is being given an inspection notice. Okay. So any general or special order in writing, of course, in writing it should be there, and you should ask any authorized person to do and conduct this inspection. See, when I am also teaching you, instead of just going through the lines, I am writing because for you also, I am expecting that you are also doing some work at the back end. Like I also don't need to write so much, right? I also don't need to, I can just mark it here. But I am ensuring to write so that you also, I'm hoping, are making an effort to write with me, because that is the only way you will remember for long term if you want to develop that. Okay. So how, for what this inspection can be done? This inspection can be done in writing by any authorized person for three things: the constitution, the working means operations, or financial condition. Financial condition. Okay. So please ensure that you have to write this, all these important points. So we have finished the when, we have finished the how. So what is the question? When we have finished, how we have finished. Now we have to mention the powers. What are the powers? So what are the powers? Powers are simple. So there are two main powers that are given in your book. So powers is he shall, अब inspection है, inquiry नहीं है. Tell me which one is more severe? Inquiry is more severe or inspection is more severe? Quickly tell me. Inspection is more severe or inquiry is more severe? inspection. Very good. So do you think the powers are more in inspection or powers are more in inquiry? किसमें ज्यादा powers होंगे? Inspection में ज्यादा power होंगे because inspection is more severe, so inspection will have more powers. So imagine what is a very important power needed. So inspection it is. Inspection में क्या power चाहिए होगी? अगर पूजा, if I send you on behalf of central registrar to do inspection of a multi-state cooperative society, what power would you want the most that you can see, access everything? Yes or no, Pooja? This is the first important. To be able to do inspection, the first power you would want is that I should be able to access everything. So what is the first? Very logically, the power is at all times, access. Access what? Books, accounts, anything, papers, vouchers, securities, stock, and any other property. So what is the first important power I want is that if you are sending me for inspection, I should have power at all time. वो ये नहीं बोल सकते अभी लंच टाइम में बाद में आओ, अभी 5 बजे हम घर चले गए बाद में आओ, ऐसा नहीं. At all times I want the power. At all times access all the books, accounts, papers, vouchers, security as may be required. Plus, should I just have the power to access it? What if I want to take it back to the registrar office? Yes, I should have power for that also. So that is why the next thing should come is plus take them in custody. I don't just want to see them, I also want to keep them in my custody. Okay? When you can keep them in custody? In event of serious regularities. So something serious has happened, so I want to take them in custody also. I have that power to take them in custody. Okay? Plus what other thing I will have? I can verify all the cash plus call for general meeting. So we also have power to call for general meeting. So if I've checked something, I want all the members to come together. I want to talk to them. I want to address a few things. That is also possible. So what is the first power? At all times access books, accounts, papers, vouchers, security, stock, any other property. Take them in custody if needed. Cash the check if I want. Call for general meeting if I want. So this is first point. Second power. Second power is that every officer will give me any other information away. देखो सब कुछ तो देख लिया, अब भी मुझे कुछ सवाल है. I still have some questions. So second power इसी का continuation है. What does the second power say? It says that every officer or member must furnish information as necessary, as required. हो गई ये बात खत्म. फिर रिपोर्ट. सो अ कॉपी ऑफ सच इन्फो, एक रिपोर्ट प्रिपेयर होगी, एक इंस्पेक्शन की रिपोर्ट प्रिपेयर होगी. अ कॉपी ऑफ सच रिपोर्ट, a copy of such report shall be communicated within 3 months of completion. Finished. See, how do I start? So suppose if I am a student and if I see this answer like this, okay? If I see this answer like this, I might feel that directly I might not be able to register. समझ में सब आ जाएगा, चलो ये लिखा है. ऐसा कोई rocket science तो है नहीं कि आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा. It is not any rocket science that you won't understand all this. But when I look at this big paragraphs and when I break it down, while breaking it down in my head, how do I break it down? So I am essentially telling you that when I see an answer, how do I break it down in my own head so that it is clearly creating a picture, and when this question comes in exam, I can remember it as a picture that okay, it was a when, it was a how, and it was the powers. And then in when, of course, some members can do, some board of members can do, some creditors can do. That picture is absolutely clear in my head, and that can only happen when you sit with yourself, when you break things down, when you mention it, when you write it down, then only things will get settled in your head. See, this is a revision class lecture, which means all of you have studied this already. I am teaching you how to remember, recall, and making you revise with me. So that is possible if you also do the effort from your end to do the revision. Okay? तो जैसे मैं कर रही हूँ वैसे साथ साथ में करो. It will help you. And now if you'll see the answer, inspection is there under section 79. If you can remember the section, it's good. If not, it's okay. But focus more on the answer. सेंट्रल रजिस्ट्रार में रिक्वेस्ट, फेडरल कोऑपरेटिव, ये पूरा आंसर हो चुका है. इसमें एक पॉइंट खाली मैंने मिस किया है. Opportunity of being heard. No inspection shall be made unless a notice of 15 days has been given, which means I cannot just show up and give a surprise visit. I have to tell them at least 15 days beforehand that we are going to come for inspection. So we have to give an opportunity of being heard. Rest all points are finished. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? Okay. Next question. Next question, everyone. Audit against rules and orders aims to ensure that expenditure conforms to the relevant provisions of the Constitution and of laws and rules made thereunder. The job of audit is to see that these rules, regulations, and orders are applied properly by subordinate authorities. It is, however, not the function of audit to prescribe what such rules should be. Analyze and explain. What does this mean? So it is giving you a statement. What is the statement being given? That expenditure audit में एक audit है, audit against rules and orders. In this, we check that if the law says that expenditure of more than 1 lakh should be approved by XYZ, then I will just check whether it was approved by XYZ. I am only checking what has been written. It is not the duty of the auditor to tell, to give these rules. Is it my duty to give the rules? No. I am just checking that whether the work is being done as per the rules and regulations. So first you have to remember that this is an expenditure audit question. Now, you know that expenditure audit may audit against rules and rules and order. It's like a one-page theory answer. And from that, we have to just explain the concept. Okay. So we have to explain that what is our duty. So agar ye hamari duty nahi hai, it is not the function of the auditor to prescribe, then analyze, then what exactly do we do? What exactly do we do? That is what you have to write. And that is why you actually have to write the full answer. So this is a type 2. It looks like that you have to write a full answer on your own, but actually you have to write what does an auditor actually do in audit against rules and order, which is given in your book as it is. Okay. So let's see it. Firstly, can anyone tell me what are the two major types of funds of India? There are many funds, but there are two major funds that are given continuously in this part, in this chapter. What are those two funds? Consolidated Fund of India. Yes. And what is the second one? One is Consolidated Fund of India. Second is Contingency Fund of India. All right, good. So there are two main funds mentioned, Consolidated Fund of India and Contingency Fund of India. So any expenses done from the Consolidated Fund of India, we have to check whether it has been done as per rules. Any expenses done from Contingency Fund of India or state, we have to check whether again it has been done as per rules and regulations. So to do this type of audit, you must know the rules and regulations properly. You must know the law properly. Okay. So let's just see. Audit against rules and orders. Audit against rules and orders aims to ensure expenditure conforms. So can you see this is same as question. Expenditure conforms to relevant provisions of constitution of laws. It also seeks to satisfy that expenditure is in accordance with financial rules, regulations and orders issued by a competent authority. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Okay, let's say if it's a bank. एक तो होता है कि you have to give loans as per Banking Regulations Act. So suppose I want to do trading in cryptocurrency. Is it allowed to get loan for buying cryptocurrency? First tell me. Tell me. Can I get loan to buy some cryptocurrency online? No. So that is prohibited. But now let's say I go to SBI Bank and I want a home loan. And they have a rule. The board of SBI has created the rule that minimum 6 months pay slip should be there. But the loan has been given on the basis of 3 months pay slip. Then have you violated Banking Regulation Act or the rules of board of SBI? अगर किसी ने लोन 6 months पे स्लिप के बजाय 3 months पे स्लिप पे दे दिया है, तो have you violated the main law or have you violated the rules and regulations of the authority? Very good. So as an auditor, do I just check the main law, or when I'm checking or doing a government audit, I have to check the rules made by the relevant authority also? Now do you understand? So इसीलिए सिर्फ एक चीज लिखना सही नहीं है. As an auditor, we don't just check the provisions of constitution and laws and rules. We also check the expenditure is as per the financial rules, regulations and orders issued by the competent authority. Please remember, both the points need to be written in exam. Then if you come, audit expenditure against regularity is a quasi-judicial type of work. It involves interpretation of constitution, statutes, rules, regulations. The final power of interpretation, however, does not vest with C&AG. So quasi-judicial means like, okay? Similar to, partially, like judicial work, but we are not fully judicial. Why is it quasi-judicial? Because थोड़ा बहुत हमारा काम होता है कि हम लॉ की इंटेंशन को समझे और इंटरप्रिटेशन करें. Because someone might have an interpretation that it is an and condition, someone might say it is an or condition. So there should be someone who should be able to interpret that whether the conditions are joint conditions or separate conditions. So this is an example of interpretation. So as an auditor, we have to do interpretation, but our interpretation is not final. Final is with the relevant ministry. So audit against rules and orders falls mainly under, first, you have to check the rules and orders sanctioning powers to incur and sanction expenditure from Consolidated Fund of India or state or Contingency Fund of India or state. Rules and orders dealing with mode of presentation of claims against government, withdrawing money from Consolidated Fund, Contingency Fund and other public funds of India and state, and in general financial rules. So what does it mean? Claims against government. So claims against government can be for many reasons. There can be many ways and reasons because of which it happens. So have you ever seen these cases that there might be someone's name versus Union of India, like that? Or state of Maharashtra, or there can be railways. So what can happen that sometimes that maybe some accident happened and the government was supposed to give you some compensation and it did not come. So there might be various claims that are pending against the government. So if government has paid some claims that were pending against them, and if the money has been withdrawn from Consolidated Fund, Contingency Fund and Public Fund, that also an auditor needs to check. Okay. and rules and orders regarding conditions of pay, allowance, pensions. So all the salaries that have been paid, perquisites, allowances, pensions that have been paid for the government servants, that also needs to be verified. So there are three things that you need to verify: the general regular expenses that are happening from the consolidated fund and contingency fund. Second, any claims against government that are being paid out of consolidated fund, contingency fund, or public fund. And third is any kind of payments that have been done for salaries, pensions, allowances. All these payments need to be checked by an auditor. So it is the function of the government to frame these rules which are to be observed. The job of the auditor is to just see that these rules are applied. So framing कौन करेगा? Government. Check कौन करेगा कि apply हुए है कि नहीं? Auditor. Okay. It is not the function of audit to prescribe what these rules will be. So but it is the function of auditor to carry out various rules, regulations, order to see that they are not inconsistent with any provisions of companies. So if any authorities have given any rules, so let's say I gave you this example. So Banking Regulation Act, let's say Banking Regulation Act is saying that we cannot give loans for betting, for cryptocurrency. Then can SBI make its own policy that we will give loans for betting, horse race betting, if the customer has a net worth for more than 20 crores? Can SBI make that rule? No. So what is this saying? This is exactly that point, that it is the function of audit to check that rules and regulations issued by executive authorities, जो authorities हैं, boards हैं, they are not issuing rules that are not consistent with the constitution or the laws. They should be consistent with essential requirements of audit and accounts as by C&AG. They should not come in any conflict with orders or rules made by any higher authority. And they have not been separately approved by competent authority. The issuing authority has the necessary rule making power. It means suppose Mr. X is the competent authority, but he has gone on leave. And he had gone on leave for 1 month. Now, Miss Y was issuing all the orders when he was on leave. So, who is the issuing authority? If Mr. X is the correct authority, but he has gone on leave for 1 month. अब 1 month वो चले गए, इसका मतलब ये काम होगा नहीं, ऐसा तो नहीं है ना, कोई और काम करेगा, कोई और अप्रूवल देगा. सो मिस्टर एक्स जब नहीं थे तो मिस वाई ने सब अप्रूवल्स दिए. तो एज एन ऑडिटर आपको चेक करना है कि जो इशुइंग अथॉरिटी है, अगर कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी नहीं था तो इशुइंग अथॉरिटी के पास नेसेसरी पावर थी कि नहीं टू मेक दोज रूल्स. एवरीवन क्लियर? A little theoretical answer, but if you break it down, it is possible. Let me quickly recap for you in 10 seconds, okay? 10-20 seconds. What is the point? Audit against rules and orders, regularity audit. We have to check two things, whether it is conformity with the constitution and law means thereunder, or the financial rules and regulations made by the competent authority. As an auditor, we check three main things: all the expenses done from consolidated fund or contingency fund. Second, claims against government paid from consolidated fund, contingency fund, or public account fund. And third, all the payments regarding services, allowances, pensions paid from the government fund. Then it is not the job of the auditor to frame the rules, it's by the government, but auditor has to check whether these rules are correctly applied. The auditor has to check that the authority has not issued rules that are inconsistent with the constitution or the laws made thereunder. They are not inconsistent with any higher authority. And if there is an issuing authority, then the issuing authority has the necessary powers to make these rules, and they meet all the essential requirements that are required by C&AG. Okay? आप भी ऐसे बोल बोल के करोगे तो सब याद होगा. Can I move to question number 3 now? Okay, let's move on to question number 3. Astha has sent some question. Any one of them, Astha. Any one of them. I did say that time, na? Yeah. Any one of them, Astha. 40 or 25. Clear? If anyone is satisfied, then you have to do the audit. Okay. Question number 3. Aman Cooperative Society has appointed Fab and Associates as auditor for 23-24. During the audit, auditors noted the following details. The number of shares are 1,000 shares at the rate of rupees 10 each. Net profit before compulsory transfer is 10,000 rupees. Net profit after compulsory transfer is rupees 8,000, means transfer of 2,000. Dharia, a member of society, holds 200 shares amounting to 2,000 rupees from previous year. Upon receiving the society's borrowings, the auditor found that Cooperative Society has accepted a loan from Mr. Shivam, a non-member. The auditor did not find any restrictions regarding this in bylaws. Comment on the above transactions of society with respect to Cooperative Society Act 1912. Okay, so the first question is regarding restriction of shareholding. Okay, why? Because they have given you clearly she is holding 200 shares, 2,000 rupees. You have to comment whether these transactions are correct or not. So what is the restriction on shareholding? Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember what is the restriction on shareholding? Let's try for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Give it a try, वरना मैं तो बता ही दूंगी. आप सोचने की कोशिश कीजिए. 1,000 or 10%. Okay. Half correct, half wrong. But good try. Anyone else? Okay. So restriction is 20% of total number of shares or rupees 1,000 of share holding value, whichever maximum of them. What does it mean? It means या तो आप अगर society में, if the society has a total 100 shares, how many shares I can hold? 20 shares I can hold. Okay. But if the value of the share is crossing 1,000 rupees, then can I hold 20 shares? No, what was I saying? 200 shares, sorry. So if the society has a total 1,000 shares, I can hold how many shares? As per this, 200 shares. And if the value of that 200 shares becomes 200 into 10 equals to 2,000 rupees. Now tell me, can I hold 200 shares? Quickly tell me. क्या मैं 200 शेयर होल्ड कर सकती हूँ? No, I cannot, because maximum how much I can hold? Rupees 1,000 of shares, which means I can hold a maximum of 100 shares, which equals to 1,000 shares. So this is the first answer. Very simple. If you'll see the book also, we'll see the first part. According to Section 5 of Central Act, in case of a society where the liability of the member is limited, no member of a society other than a registered society can hold such portion of share capital as would exceed a maximum of 20% of total number of shares or value of shareholding of rupees 1,000. In the given share, Dhairya is holding 200 shares amounting to rupees 2,000. In view of this, she can hold a maximum of 100 shares according to the Act. Is that clear? Now, what was the second question? That borrowings have been taken, accepted, a loan of this. So, cooperative society may give loan पे restrictions हो सकती है. But cooperative society has taken loan. Loan मैंने लिया है. So, cooperative society may take loan from someone who is a non-member unless there is a specific restriction in your bylaws. Is there any restriction? No. So, is this okay? It's completely okay. So, what is the second point? Under Section 30 of Central Act, further puts restriction on borrowings. According to this section, a registered society can accept loans and deposits from persons who are not members, subject to restrictions in bylaws. The auditor will have to examine the bylaws. So, since Since there are no restrictions in the bylaws, the loan received from Mr. Shivam is permissible. All right. So this point is also done. Very easy answer. Very, very cash cow answer. Matlab easily you can gain marks in this kind of question. Okay. Next question. While auditing the financial statements of Bro Traders LLP, CAL is going carefully through the LLP agreement. Discuss briefly the key points CAL should pay attention in LLP agreement and reporting responsibilities of CAL. Let's not see the book. आप देखो, आपके सामने एक LLP agreement है. Think of it like a partnership deed. क्या क्या notice करोगे? What all will you notice in a partnership agreement or an LLP agreement? जल्दी जल्दी बताओ एक एक point. Keep writing down one point. Think, imagine a partnership deed. You are the auditor. What all points will you note down? What information can you get from an LLP agreement or a partnership deed? Write down quickly, please. Profit share distribution ratio, very good. What else I can get? What else I can get? What is their liability share? Okay. How much contribution they have given? Very good, Kuldeep. Very good. Interest on capital, interest on drawings. Very good, Astha. Interest on capital, interest on drawings. What else can I know from the LLP agreement? How much powers are there? Powers of each partner. Very good. What powers are there? What else? Borrowing powers. Okay. Credit powers means borrowing powers. Who are the sleeping partners? Okay, good. Rights and duties of different partner, you can say like that. Okay. What is the dissolution? Very good. Dissolution means how much is the duration of the partnership and how will it be dissolved? Then, what is the objective? Objective means what is the business of this LLP? Good. What else can you know? Right to transfer means admission of a new partner, succession, death, retirement. इन सब सिचुएशन में क्या कैसे काम होगा ये सब आपने खुद बता दिया. Did any of you see the book? Did any of you see the book or you said on your own? Did any of you see the book or you said on your own? On your own. Okay. Which means even if you have forgotten your book completely, can you write this answer? You can. You have given me 80% of all the points. So if you see the book, the auditor should read the LLP agreement and note the nature of business of LLP, capital contributed by each partner, interest to be paid on additional capital, interest on capital, duration of partnership, drawings allowed, salaries, commission payable to partners, borrowing powers of LLP, rights and duties of partner, method of settlement during admission, retirement, any loans, profit sharing ratio. पूरा आंसर आपने खुद ही बोल दिया. Okay. So the whole answer you were able to tell your own self. So even if you don't put a lot of effort to memorize, by the virtue of the common sense, you will be able to write this answer easily. What is the second part of the question? Responsibilities, reporting responsibilities of L concerning the financial statement. So this will go very normally only. These are very normal reporting responsibility. I have to tell whether records of the firm appear to be correct and reliable, whether I was able to obtain all information and explanation necessary for my work, whether any restriction was imposed on him. So these three things auditor has to comment when he's making the report, that whether the records of the firm were correct and reliable, whether I was able to obtain all the information and explanation that was necessary, and whether they put any limitation or restriction on me. So this is it. This is the question number 4. Let's go to question number 5. Now, this is a very interesting, fun question. Pay attention, everyone. A government department has been allotted a budget for infrastructure development. During the audit, the auditor observes the following. Some payments were processed without the approval from the competent authority. A large-scale project was implemented, but no assessment has been made regarding the expected benefits were achieved or not. Funds were utilized from an account for which no budgetary provision was made. Certain expenditures were made without following the prescribed financial regulations. There were instances of unnecessary spending that did not align with financial property. Identify different types of audit. So first, some payments were processed without proper approval. Which type of audit is this? Which one is this? Payments were processed without approval. Approval के बिना काम हुआ है. Audit of sanction. Very good, Astha. Second, a large-scale project was implemented, but no assessment was made regarding the expected benefits were achieved or not. Which is this? Expected benefits were achieved or not? Performance. Very good. Third, funds were utilized from an account for which no provision was made. कौन सा audit है ये? No provision was made. Question में ही answer है. The answer is in the question. Audit against provision of funds. Certain expenses were made without prescribed financial regulations. बताओ इसमें भी question में ही answer है. Quickly. Rules and orders. Very good. And expenses did not align with financial property. इसमें भी question में ही answer है. The answer is in the question. Which one is it? Question में ही answer है. The answer is propriety. Very good. Propriety audit. सारे answer आपके सही हैं. Done. So easy. Okay. Next. Question number 6 पे आते हैं. Question number 6. An NGO based in Kolkata collected significant donations for flood victims in Bihar. The funds were distributed to various NGOs operating in Bihar. Okay. So Kolkata के NGO को funds मिले and Bihar के NGOs को उसने fund distribute किए. Okay. You have been appointed as the auditor for this NGO for the year in which it collected and disbursed these funds. Draft an audit program to audit the receipt of donations and remittance of collected funds to different NGOs. Okay. पहले तो first mistake that students make. This is a very classic question. Very, very old is gold बोलते हैं ना, वो चीज है ये. बहुत पुराना question है, but evergreen question है. So what is the problem that I have seen over years students making same mistake? They will write a general audit program. They will write an audit program for NGO, जो आपकी book में दिया हुआ है. First, tell me, is this a type 1 question, type 2 question or a type 3 question? Book देखकर बताओ. ये type 1 question है, type 2 है कि type 3 है? Very good. This is a very, very interesting and important type 3 question. मतलब पूरी drafting खुद करनी है. पूरी drafting you have to do on your own. The whole answer you have to write on your own. Even if it's an open book test. क्या आप directly कोई point use कर सकते हो book से? As it is copy paste कर सकते हो कुछ book का? नहीं. You have to think the answer on your own on the basis of the conceptual understanding. So this is a very important type 3 question. So what is the general mistake that students make? The general mistake they make is they write an audit program for NGO. They will write the all points. We'll check the property. We'll check the earmarked funds. We'll check the salaries paid. But वो तो पूछा ही नहीं है. That is not asked in the question. What is the question asking? Draft an audit program to audit receipts of donation and remittance. मतलब आपको audit of receipts ऑफ डोनेशन के पॉइंट्स लिखने हैं एंड ऑडिट ऑफ रेमिटेंस टू डिफरेंट एनजीओस. This is the point you have to write. So this you have to think on your own fully. Let's do this first. This is easier, okay? Remittance of donation, which means that donation has been sent to other, which means K received it and then it's sent to B. Then how did you send this to B? ये जो process हुआ है ये audit करना है. तो इसमें हम क्या क्या audit कर सकते हैं? खुद सोचो. K ने B को पैसे भेजे हैं. क्या क्या जानना चाहोगे आप एज एन ऑडिटर? राइट डाउन एनी पॉइंट्स, कुछ भी लिखो जो दिमाग में आए. के ने कलेक्ट किए 10 करोड़ रुपए. 10 crores have been collected. Out of the 10 crore, 8 crores it has sent to NGOs in Bihar. क्या क्या इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए आपको, बताओ इसके बारे में. क्या क्या इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए? मैं आपको बोल रही हूँ कि 10 करोड़ में से 8 करोड़ आपने बिहार के कुछ एनजीओs को भेजे हैं. अब आप बताइए आपको क्या क्या जानकारी चाहिए इसके बारे में. ऑथराइज्ड क्या पूजा? अमाउंट ऑथराइज्ड है या फिर एनजीओ ऑथराइज्ड है? वेरी गुड. फर्स्ट आस्था हैज रिटन व्हाट मोड, मतलब डीडी भेजा है, एनईएफटी भेजा है, यूपीआई किया है, क्या किया है? ओके, वेरी गुड. सेकंड, सिद्ध संघानी, वेरी गुड पॉइंट. लिस्ट ऑफ एनजीओस, किस किस को भेजा है 8 करोड़ रुपया? वेरी गुड. फिर कंफर्मेशन फ्रॉम एनजीओ, वेरी गुड. एनजीओ से कंफर्मेशन आया है कि नहीं कि उनको पैसा मिल गया है? ये रिटर्न कंफर्मेशन ऑडिटर खुद भी मांग सकता है. ओके, ऑडिटर कैन ऑल्सो आस्क. अप्रूवल ऑफ रेमिटेंस, वेरी गुड. अप्रूवल एंड कंफर्मेशन ऑफ रेमिटेंस. फिर इज एनजीओ जेन्युइन, वेरी गुड. Is NGO genuine? System of NGO selection. How did you select this NGOs? बताइए. Very good, Astha. Utilization. Astha has written only used for flood victims. Purpose of remittance. Very good. Utilization of donations. ऐसे ये लिस्ट चलती रह सकती है, बट अगर अब मैं आपको बुक में दिखाऊं तो देखो आप सबने खुद ही बता दिए पॉइंट्स. All points were covered. Mode of sending remittance, all remittance through checks. If it is to demand draft, whether it is properly scrutinized. Confirming receipt of remittance, all remittance have been supported by vouchers. किसी ने vouchers लिखा था. By receipts and acknowledgements. Identity, list of NGO किसी ने लिखा था. Recipient NGO is a genuine entity. Verify their address, ATG registration number, etc. Direct confirmation, send confirmation letters to entities to whom donation has been paid. Donation utilization, utilization of donation for providing to tsunami victims and not for any other purpose. System of NGO selection, system for selecting NGOs have been properly given. Were you able to write all the points? सब points तो आप लोगों ने ही लिख दिए. इसको कहते हैं टाइप 3 क्वेश्चन, जहां पे आपको you have to use your own common sense, you have to use your conceptual understanding to write down the answer. Okay, now let's see the first one. Audit of receipt of donation. अब बहुत ही स्पेसिफिकली खाली रिसिप्ट की बात हो रही है. इसके आगे पीछे सैलरी ये सब कुछ की बात नहीं हो रही है. ओनली रिसिप्ट इज बीइंग टॉक्ड अबाउट. ओके, so यहाँ पे answer is a little more specific. So students, what I have seen with my experience, they are more comfortable with this answer, but they struggle a little bit with receipt. Okay, because receipt is like checking sales of a company. Now tell me this, students, in when we check sales of a company, do we focus just on the sales? Sales vouchers पे खाली focus करते नहीं. First we check is the internal control system. because this can be very high in quantity. किसी ने 100 रुपया दिया होगा, someone might have paid 50 rupees, someone might have paid 800 rupees. ये तो bulk में जाएगा. This will go in bulk. But the receipt of donation can be in very very small amount. Yes or no? 10 crore इकट्ठा करने के लिए someone might have paid 100, someone might have paid 500, someone might have paid 750, someone might have paid 199, someone might have paid 2 lakhs. So there is so much variation. So it might be possible that we can't check each and every donation received. So that is why we need to check internal control system. So existence of internal control system regarding proper division of responsibility regarding who is authorized to collect donation, custody of receipt book, safe custody of money. Custody of receipt book. Check of system regarding who can issue the receipt book. Receipt book matlab, if you want to collect donation, usually there is a book like this in which given with thanks to etc etc. So यहाँ पे signature होता है, यहाँ पे एक seal होती है, यहाँ पे amount होता है. So that is receipt book. Whether unused receipt books are properly returned. Same can be physically verified. Receipt of checks. Receipt book should have a carbon copy for duplicate receipt and signed by a responsible official. All details for checks, etc. should be clearly there. Reconciliation. Check that bank statement is with respect to all cash deposits is properly shown in the receipt book. Cash receipts. Register of cash donations to be properly and more extensively vouched. If addresses are available, the same can be cross-checked by asking the entity to post thank you letters. And if this is very important, if any foreign contribution received, whether applicable rules and regulations are properly applied. ठीक है everyone? Clear है? Okay. Ma'am, it is written that none of the above mentioned act warrant mandatory registration under them for NGO, but if NGO is created as trust and trust relates to immovable property more than 100 rupees, what is the meaning? It means, Astha, that suppose there are some poor kids who live near my home and I have started teaching them and I give them free classes every day. Do I have to register it compulsory as an NGO? पहले बताओ मुझे, आस्था इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर दो. मैं कुछ बच्चों को फ्री में पढ़ाना चाहती हूँ. Okay, this is your first point. It is written that none of the above act warrant mandatory registration, which means if you want to do charitable activities, it is not compulsory for you to register under any of the act of trust, society or companies act. But if there is even 100 rupees of any immovable property, which means suppose I die and leave my house or even a land to you and you are running an NGO, do I have to then get registered? Tell me quickly, Astha. क्या तब मुझे registration करवाना पड़ेगा अगर मैं किसी से donation of immovable property लेना चाहती हूँ? Yes. So even if you are having an immovable property of even more than 100 rupees, you have to get yourself registered as an NGO. Is that clear now, Astha? Doubt is cleared? Okay. Next. Question number 7 पे आइए. What does it mean? Trust. Trust is associated with an immovable property. Okay. Relates means that. Is associated. तो अगर किसी को स्कूल चलानी है तो यूजुअली ट्रस्ट रिलेट्स टू सम इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी ना. एंड कोई माइनर है, लेट्स से आस्था आप माइनर हो और आपके लिए कोई बहुत बड़ी संपत्ति छोड़ के चला गया है, तो दैट ट्रस्ट इज आल्सो रिलेटेड टू इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. समझ में आई बात? सो अगर कोई भी ट्रस्ट किसी भी इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी से कोई भी रिश्ता रखता है, भले वो 100 रुपए की है, तो उनको एज अ एनजीओ रजिस्टर करना पड़ेगा. दैट इज द मीनिंग. Okay. Okay, all right. Next question. PQ and Company Chartered Accountants have been appointed as statutory auditors of CBD Multiplex Cinema Limited. The audit team started the audit and verified the ledger and other books of accounts of financial year 24-25. However, one of the team is of the view that the internal control mechanism of the company should also be verified. Can you guide the audit team about the areas that will be covered in verifying the internal control mechanism? So, if you will see your book, so this looks like a type 3 question, but actually what question is this? This looks like a type 3 question. इसमें लगेगा आपको कि आपको खुद सोचकर ये आंसर लिखना है. But it's actually a direct question. Very good, Pooja. So if you'll see your book, in the cinema part, they have specifically given internal control verification for tickets, है ना? What is the biggest, most voluminous thing that happens in a cinema theater? So if it's a cinema theater with 6 screens, अब 6 screens में दिन के 6 शो चल रहे हैं अगर, तो कितनी tickets sale होगी? So many tickets will be sold. And that is why for an auditor, it would be impossible for me to verify each ticket sale. And that is why it will become more important to verify the what? Internal control. So internal control is to be verified for tickets. अगर ये आपने identify कर लिया तो आंसर लिख पाओगे. So internal control for the tickets, what all can you verify? Entrance is only through proper printed tickets. They are serially proper numbered. Number of tickets issued for each show are having different numbers of class for same day, each week run serially, which means by just the serial number, you should be able to identify that ये Wednesday की ticket है या ये Tuesday की ticket है और ये किस category की ticket है, premium ticket है या फिर let's say that what is that relaxing chair वाले होते हैं ना, that also seats are available. I forgot the name. So you have to put on different executive class or the premium class. That for advance booking, a separate series of ticket is issued and inventory of tickets is kept in custody of a responsible official. So this answer is something that you have to make a little effort to memorize. क्या लिखा है पर थोड़ा लॉजिकली देखने की कोशिश करते हैं. पहला, इंटरनल कंट्रोल किसका? टिकट्स का. टिकट्स क्या होनी चाहिए? प्रिंटेड होनी चाहिए, नंबर्ड होनी चाहिए, टिकट्स इशूड रिकनसाइल होनी चाहिए ईच शो की, ईच क्लास की, एडवांस बुकिंग की सेपरेट सीरीज होनी चाहिए और टिकट्स की कस्टडी एक सेपरेट रिस्पॉन्सिबल पर्सन के पास होनी चाहिए. ओके, वेरी सिंपल आंसर, वेरी इजी आंसर. विल मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट वन. Helping Hands Cooperative Society is working for the welfare of its members since last 10 years. Governing body observed that society has some idle funds during financial year 23-24 and considering the equity market's growth, they have decided to invest the same in blue chip mutual funds. Decision brought fortune and society earned handsome return on investment. Auditor of the company, however, gave a qualified opinion. Management has hired you to guide where they went wrong. Give your comments. Okay. Tell me which type of question it is. Type 1, type 2, type 3. Quickly बताओ. Type 1 question है, type 2 है कि type 3 है? पहले ये बताओ जल्दी से. It's a type 1 question. Copy paste from the book. क्या है? Where can a cooperative society invest money? कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी के पास अगर एक्स्ट्रा पैसा है, इफ दे हैव एक्सेस फंड्स, वेयर कैन द कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी इन्वेस्ट द मनी? सो आई विल टेल यू. कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी ना, सो कैसे याद रखना है? फर्स्ट, एनी सेंट्रल और स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक. इजी ना? कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी कहाँ पैसा इन्वेस्ट कर सकती है? कोऑपरेटिव बैंक. कौन सा कोऑपरेटिव बैंक? सेंट्रल और स्टेट. Second, in any cooperative bank other than central or state cooperative bank approved by registrar. So there might be some district cooperative banks जो ना कि central है ना state है. So any cooperative bank other than central or state if they have been approved by the registrar. So again, where can a cooperative society invest money? In cooperative bank. Which cooperative bank? Central or state cooperative bank or any other cooperative bank approved by the registrar. Next, where can they invest money? Again, they can invest money in any society. Society के shares, securities, bonds, debentures. Any society with limited liability. So अभी तक कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी कहाँ कहाँ पैसा इन्वेस्ट कर सकती है? कोऑपरेटिव बैंक में एंड सोसाइटी में. एनी सोसाइटी, शेयर्स, डिबेंचर्स, बॉन्ड्स. फिर वेयर एल्स कैन दे इन्वेस्ट? सोसाइटी की बहन है एनजीओ, विच मीन्स दे कैन इन्वेस्ट इन सिक्योरिटीज स्पेसिफाइड under Indian Trust Act 1882. And lastly, any other monies permitted by central government or state government. तो कैसे याद रखना है? बहुत ही इजी है, very easy to memorize. Where can a cooperative society invest money? In a cooperative bank, central or state, or any other cooperative bank approved by registrar. Then any other society which is limited in their shares, debentures, bonds, and securities. Then any securities that a trust can invest in. And lastly, any other money as approved by central or state government. Okay, that's it. Very easy. So as per section 2, question में ही दिया हुआ है. In question only it's there. All this. Then you have to give a conclusion. Why do you have to give a conclusion? You have to guide them. So in the given case, Helping Hands invested funds in blue chip mutual funds, due to which auditor gave a qualified opinion. Helping Hands Cooperative Society can invest funds only as per section 32, as investment in blue chip funds is not permissible. So please don't forget, whenever they are asking you an opinion, give conclusion. Give conclusion. Okay, done. Next. CAP was consulted by one of his friends, Mr. Robin. Mr. Robin informed him that he wants to enter in education sector and invest in one of the schools being operated in the city. The operations of the school will be managed by Robin only, and proposed investment will be made once CAP confirms the revenue figures given by him by existing management. CAP says that the main source of revenue is the fee from students. What are the special steps to be verified? This is again a type 1 question. Okay, this is type 1 question. Okay, what does it mean? It means this is directly in your book. Okay, so if I have to tell you quickly, student fee register, fees from students, क्या क्या verify करना है fees from students में? Student fee register, class register, scholarship and concessions. Counterfoils you have to check with cash and bank. Arrears, if any, recoverable. Any late fees or penalty. Admission fees, capital fund unless managing committee has a separate policy. And hostel fees and mess fees. So the fees collected from students is the main internal control system. So what all we have to check? Student fee register we have to check. We have to verify it, reconcile it with class register. We have to reconcile with scholarships and any concessions given. We have to check the counterfoils with receipt issued and reconfirm and reconcile with cash and bank. We have to see arrears are properly there or not, and if any are recoverable. Any late fees penalty has been collected. Any admission fees, capital fund, etc. are properly managed by the managing committee or not. And any hostel fees or mess fees is collected or not. So if you'll see the book, these are the points given. Check names entered in student fee register for each month. with class register, amount, fees charged. सब points मैंने उसमें mention कर दिए. Counterfoils, cash book, tracing the fees collection and fee register, totaling up the columns of fee register for each month, whether they are properly carried forward, arrears that are recoverable. Check admission fees with admission slips and confirm that amount has been credited to the capital fund unless managing committee has taken a decision to contrary. Check free studentship and concessions have been properly granted as per the authorization. Check fines for late payment or absences. Check any hostel dues. Okay. Caution money is like how if I take a room on rent. तो अगर रेंट 10,000 रुपए है तो मुझसे एक डिपॉजिट लिया जा सकता है 30,000 रुपए का, उसको कॉशन मनी बोलते हैं. ओके. So what special steps to be taken? Just remember like this. These are all the keywords. Student fee register, class register, scholarship and concessions, counterfoils and cash and bank balance, arrears if any recoverable, any late fees or penalties, admission fees, capital fund unless management committee has separate policy, and hostel fees and mess fees. Okay, that's it. Let's go on to the question number 10. You have been appointed as an auditor of cooperative society. Discuss the course of audit. During the course of audit, you have noticed some serious irregularity in the working of the society. Enumerate those special matters. So this is again a type 1 question directly from the book. एकदम सीधा सपाट क्वेश्चन है. तो I will tell you how to write that. तो ये एक स्पेशल रिपोर्ट है. And इसमें language, the language is extremely important. Okay, language is extremely important. So if you are auditing a cooperative society and you find these specific things, you have to give report to the registrar. इसमें please remember the language. You cannot write just like that very random words. You cannot use. You have to use these keywords. First is cases of personal profiteering. Cases of, one second, the spelling is problematic. Cases of personal profiteering. Cases of personal profiteering means the managing committee has done such expenses or such kind of things जिनसे society को कम और उनको personally ज्यादा फायदा हुआ है. So cases of personal profiteering which is detrimental to society. Detrimental means it is हानिकारक, वो उसके सेहत के लिए खराब है. पर्सनल प्रॉफिटियरिंग. सेकंड, डिटेक्शन ऑफ फ्रॉड. Detection of fraud with respect to 3 things: expenses, purchases, property and stores. So अगर कोई भी खर्चा किया गया है या परचेजेस किए गए हैं प्रॉपर्टी के, स्टोर्स के, सो उसमें कोई डिटेक्शन ऑफ फ्रॉड हुआ है, देन स्पेशल रिपोर्ट हैज टू बी गिवन. थर्ड इज एग्जांपल्स ऑफ मिसमैनेजमेंट. अब mismanagement does not mean some fraud has happened, but mismanagement can mean कि आपने टाइमली अकाउंट्स खत्म नहीं किए तो ऑडिट नहीं हो पाया टाइम से, या आपने मीटिंग 21 डेज के नोटिस के बिना बुलवा ली, या आपने कोरम के बिना मीटिंग खत्म कर ली. So mismanagement can be more than just fraud. It can be the way the things are being run. They are not smooth and they are not correct. So examples of mismanagement can be done. And lastly, in case of cooperative banks, disproportionate advances have been given to vested interest groups. Now, vested interest groups can be your directors, relatives. So, vested interest groups, which is deliberate negligence. Deliberate negligence. It is called reckless advancing. So, बिना सर पैर के, बिना लॉजिक के, without proper understanding, you are giving away loans. Someone is just a 21-year-old, not having salary of even 20,000 rupees, and you are giving them a loan of 1 crore. That is an example of disproportionate advance or a reckless advance. Okay. So in which cases special report is given to registrar students? जहां पे cases of personal profiteering, when you feel that from the cooperative society the managing committee is getting a lot of personal benefit, when you have found some fraud in expenses, purchases, property, anything, when you have found some cases of mismanagement, personal profiteering, fraud, mismanagement, and last you remember as reckless advancing. Okay, disproportionate advances to vested interest groups, creating deliberate negligence and giving reckless advancing. So please remember this answer. It's a very straightforward, direct answer. Personal profiteering, detection of fraud, mismanagement, disproportionate advances, vested interest groups, deliberate negligence, and reckless advancing. Everyone clear with this point? ये आंसर क्लियर है? In finance lease, the term is generally more than or equal to estimate. Why more is written? More is written, Asta, because useful life of asset हम सिर्फ determine कर सकते हैं. So if I purchased a machinery and the useful life I determined was 5 years, but it actually ran for 8 years, 10 years. So the lease will be till 10 years till it is running. So useful life is an estimation we make. But suppose it ends at 3 years, you still have to pay for 5 years. So more is given in case the machinery is well maintained and it runs for a longer period of time. So the lease can be extended to that period. Okay. We are on the last question. P Financial Services is a leasing and hiring purchase company. You are an auditor and are in the process of examining financial lease agreements executed by them for equipment given on lease. Which point shall be noted by you while examining a particular finance lease agreement entered in by PFSL in respect of leasing transaction? So basically आपको lease agreement check करना है. What is the question? आपको सिर्फ lease agreement check करना है. Lease agreement में आप क्या check करोगे? Who is the lessor? Who is the lessee? What is being given on lease, what location it is being installed, what is the tenure, what are the dates of payment, what are the late charges, what are any deposits given, whether the equipment shall be returned on termination and the cost to be borne by lessee, whether the agreement prohibits the lessee from subletting the equipment. So only these 4 points. So let's agreement में क्या क्या देख रही हूँ मैं? Who is the lessor? Very simple. Who is the lessee? Then 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Who is the lessor? Who is the lessee? What equipment you have given? Where is it going to be installed? What is the duration of our lease? What are the dates you'll make me payment? What are the late charges if you don't pay payment on time? How much deposits I have given? What are the advances being taken? When, whether the equipment will be returned to me on the expiry, and whether the person whom I have given the equipment, whether they can sublet to someone else. So this is a very specific answer. Again, the answer is directly from the book. It's a type 1 question. So you can easily remember it. So we are completed with the revision of chapter number 9. We'll take a quick 10 minutes break we'll take here, and we'll come back and finish the chapter number 11. Technical team? Hanji, thank you. Please let me know you can hear me, see me, and you are back too. जल्दी जल्दी बता दीजिए. Okay. All right. So we will be starting with chapter number 11, and it is all about ethics and your acceptance of engagement. So this chapter actually creates a base that आपको जो भी काम करना है वो करते समय आपको किस तरीके का एटीट्यूड मेंटेन करना है. सो वी हैव स्टडीड अ लॉट अबाउट लीगैलिटी, बट वेयर डू वी स्टडी अबाउट व्हाट character we should keep as an auditor? So a lot of times students confuse legality with morality. So just to give you a small example, that let's say if you're driving by a road, okay, आप रोड की तरफ ड्राइव कर रहे हैं, okay, so ये आप हो, बड़े खुशी खुशी जा रहे हो, ठीक है, एंड यहाँ पे एक पेड़ है, some and someone is lying down here, okay, and they are not well, they have a lot of injuries, and they're asking you for help, okay, so they are saying help, okay, and then you don't stop for the help, you run away from here, okay. Next day you read a newspaper and you see one person in this road died. First tell me, did you do anything illegal? क्या आपने कुछ illegal किया? अगर आप रुके नहीं, if you did not stop and you went away, can someone put you in jail for that? No. But do you think it was morally and ethically correct to do that? Do you think someone who has integrity, someone who is a person of good character, good values, would have left that person? No. So legality and morality and ethics are different from each other. Sometimes things may be legally allowed, but it may still be ethically wrong to do it. Simple way, as an auditor. Now I'll give you an auditor example. So there's an auditor A. She has a best friend since childhood. Childhood, she is X. Okay, the childhood is running a business. This childhood friend, childhood best friend is running a business. I am a CA. Okay, CAA. So इस business में she is not my relative. क्या वो मेरी relative है? C, she is not a relative. Do I have a significant interest in the business? No. Do I have shareholding in business? No. Do I have debenture in the business? No. Do I have any other loans with the business? No. Do I have direct business with this business? No. I have nothing. On paper, legally, आपने section पढ़ा है ना? Section 141, Section 143 of Companies Act. Legally, can I be auditor of X Private Limited? On paper, can I be auditor? Please tell me. I am not a relative. I have no shareholding. I have no business. I have no loans. I have no debts. I have given no guarantee. Nothing is there. Legally, yes. But do you think I am independent by mind? Ethically, should I be an auditor? Should I be an auditor? No. So this chapter deals with not can. It does not deal with can. It deals with should you. आप कर तो सकते हो, पर क्या आपको करना चाहिए? And that is why ethics becomes a bigger and a broader concept, which can only be in a person ethically. No law, it is beyond law, it is bigger than the law, and that is what this chapter is about. So first you have to understand this crux, okay, and that is why it deals with your human conscience. It deals with what kind of person you are, what kind of character you are, what kind of integrity and values and principles do you have. And it is said that if you are a good person who is trustable, who has good values, who has good principles, it means you will automatically be an auditor with good values and good integrity. Okay. Now let's come to the question. Sigma Limited has approached. Astha is asking if father holding shares and nomination is CAA. Nomination is not specifically told as no by the Companies Act. So yes, you can be. बट अगर उनकी डेथ हो जाती है एंड आपको शेयर्स रिसीव्ड हो जाते हैं तो आपको इमीडिएटली रिजाइन करना पड़ेगा या शेयर्स सेल करने पड़ेंगे. ओके. Sigma Limited has approached CJK and Associates to appoint them as their auditor for a period of 5 years in accordance with provisions of Companies Act. The prospective client company is new to audit firm. Okay. First time it's my client. SQC requires that firm before accepting engagement should inquire vital information about client, which helps the firm to decide about integrity of the client. Apart from integrity, obtaining such vital information about client is also helpful to audit firm. In which other matters? Which matters would be considered by audit firm with regard to integrity? So this point deals with that ऐसा नहीं है कि जो भी client आ रहा है आने दो. अच्छा तुम भी आ जाओ, तुम भी मेरे client बन जाओ. You also become my client. You also become my client. No. If you want to be a good auditor, then you have to choose good clients. You don't have to say जो आ रहा है आने दो. No. You don't have to allow everyone to become your client. And this SQC1 very clearly says that you have to test the integrity of the new client. So if a client approaches you, you should also check. What all can I check? I can check whether that owners, जो भी owners हैं या उनका business है, what is their reputation? What is their integrity? उनकी मार्केट में क्या रेपुटेशन है. ओके. ओनर्स हो गए, TCWG हो गए, KMP हो गए, रिलेटेड पार्टीज हो गए. फिर व्हाट काइंड ऑफ बिजनेस आर दे डूइंग. What kind of business are they in? Then, in general, what is their attitude? Attitude. What is their attitude towards accounting standards? And in general, accounts की तरफ क्या उनका standard है? कोई आपसे, if some clients come and talks to you like this, sir, accounts तो it's okay ना, बन जाएंगे जैसे बनना है. What's the big deal? If someone talks to you, do you think they take accounts seriously? Do you think they take accounting process seriously? Do you think they take accounting standards seriously? No. उनको सिर्फ पैसे बनाने से मतलब है. So ऐसे क्लाइंट में आपका, आप उनके दिए हुए एक भी वाउचर पे, एक भी क्या बोलते हैं, रिटर्न रिप्रेजेंटेशन पे, किसी चीज पे आप ट्रस्ट ही नहीं कर पाओगे. As an auditor, you also have to enter audit with little bit trust on bills that whatever information management is giving has some reliability. If you can't trust, then आप disclaimer opinion ही दोगे, आप कुछ भी trust नहीं कर पाओगे. So you have to check their attitude. Or they are aggressive about low fees. सो क्लाइंट से बात करते करते वो हमेशा आपसे खाली फीस कम करने की बात करते हो. कभी दे नेवर से यू डू गुड जॉब, आई विल पे यू प्रॉपर्ली, बट यू डू अ गुड जॉब. बट दे ऑलवेज से सर डोंट चेक दिस, आई जस्ट do take 10,000 rupee less, just finish the work, sir. If they talk like this, you know that that client cannot be trusted. Okay. If there is some indication that the client is involved in any money laundering or criminal activity, which means suppose your client tells you, yes, we have some accounts in Panama also, we have created some companies in Switzerland also. If you get some indications that they might be involved in a lot of black money rotation, so keep that in mind when you're selecting a client. Okay. And why previous auditor removed or not reappointed. So always ask them that why are you appointing me? The previous auditor, XYZ and Associates, still had that term. You could have appointed them for another term. Why are you appointing me? And if they say, sir, they asked too many questions from us. Sir, they asked too many documents from us. They gave us a qualified opinion last time. We don't want that kind of auditor. You do, sir. Which means they'll not allow you also to give any proper opinion. They'll not give you any documents. ऐसा client आपको क्यों चाहिए? So this is such a beautiful answer that tells you that जब आप CA बन जाओगे, when you become a CA, when you go into practice, you should have some standard that what kind of client I will accept. There should be some questions you should ask before you say yes to a client. So a firm, before accepting an engagement, should get vital information about client. Such information can help you in deciding integrity of client, competence of your own self, and compliance. How to check integrity? अब ये इसके लिए ये आंसर है, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन में it is asking you what integrity, okay? How to check integrity? Identity and business reputation, nature of clients' operations, their attitude towards accounting standards and internal control, their aggressiveness towards keeping fees low, indications of inappropriate limitation on scope of work, indication that client may be involved in money laundering or any criminal activity, reasons for proposed appointment and not reappointment of the previous firm. Okay, please remember this answer. Next. CA Deepa initially requested an audit engagement, CA Limited, sorry, CA nahi Deepa. Deepa Limited initially requested an audit engagement for the financial year 23-24. However, midway through the audit process, the management claims they are unable to provide complete supporting documents for a significant portion of their receivables. As a result, the management asks the auditor to change the audit engagement to a review engagement, arguing that it would prevent the issue of qualified opinion. The auditor is now facing a challenge in determining whether this change is justified or not. Comment with the relevant standard. पहले तो आपको standard identify करना है. Which standard question it is? जल्दी से बताइए. कौन सा standard का question है ये? Which standard will be applicable? Quickly tell me. Anyone? बिल्कुल घर पे रिवाइज नहीं किया है ना ये चैप्टर? समझ में आ रहा है मुझे? Okay, I'll only tell you. I'll quickly help you, okay? Agreeing to the terms of audit engagement. Agreeing to the terms of audit engagement में ये है कि आप audit accept करने से पहले precondition set करो. इसका question हम करेंगे detail में. Audit engagement terms को detail में discuss करो, okay? And अगर आपके ऊपर limitation apply हो तो आप उस situation में क्या करोगे ये mention किया हुआ है, okay? But acceptance of change in terms of audit engagement after engagement is started, after audit started. What is happening in our given case? That you have already started the audit. In the middle of it, they're asking you to change the objective of audit from audit to a review engagement so that they can avoid getting a qualified opinion. Now, what does the essay say? If the entity requests you to change terms, is it justified? So, changes in circumstances or some misunderstanding is there, then you can consider it as a reasonable basis. A change may not be reasonable if it appears that change relates to information that is incorrect, incomplete, or completely unsatisfactory. What should an auditor consider before agreeing to change in audit engagement? If it provides lower level of assurance. First tell me, which gives a high level of assurance, audit or review? Which gives a higher level of assurance? ये तो chapter 1 का question है. Which gives higher level of assurance, audit or review engagement? Audit engagement. Which means if I give review engagement, will it give lower level of assurance? Yes, it will give lower level of assurance. So what should an auditor do before agreeing to change in audit engagement? The auditor shall determine whether there is a reasonable justification for doing so. What is being told in our question? What is the justification? That they are unable to provide, उनको कुछ documents नहीं मिल रहे. They're not finding some documentation for receivables, means debtors. बस इसलिए बोल रहे change कर दो. Do you think it is justified? Do you think it is justifiable? Do you think it is reasonable for you to change because they can't give you documentation? No. Because it's neither change in circumstances nor it is about some misunderstanding. And because in this case, you may tell, no, I will not change it. And if they don't allow you to continue, if they are unable to change or agree to the change and is not permitted by management to continue, then you can either withdraw from the engagement, or you can decide if you have to report this to any other party. So sometimes you might have to send a letter to TCWG or to your appointing authority and tell them what is happening in the company. So now let's see the answer. If you remember essay 210, you can easily write this answer. So essay 210, agreeing to the audit engagement. Change in terms of conditions may be due to change in circumstances, or there is a misunderstanding or some restriction. The auditor considers the justification given and decides the implication on the audit engagement. A change in circumstances or misunderstanding may be considered a reasonable basis. In contrast, a change may not be considered reasonable if it appears that change relates to information that is incorrect, incomplete, or otherwise unsatisfactory. An example might be where auditor is unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding receivables and entities asking. This is from the question, okay? To avoid a disclaimer or a qualified opinion. Hence, Deepa Limited's request to change is to avoid a qualified opinion and it is not reasonable. So, आपको क्या लिखना था? आपको ये वाला part कि आप कब, when can you change? When can you change? When it is reasonable due to change in circumstance or misunderstanding. It is not reasonable if it is due to information being incorrect, may not be considered reasonable if information is incorrect or incomplete or unsatisfactory. What should an auditor do? Auditor should see if it is reasonable. If it is not reasonable, auditor should not accept it. Okay. Now let's see. Familiarity threats are self-evident and occur when auditor forms relationship with clients where they end up being too sympathetic. Can you tell me all 5 threats? Can everyone tell me 5 threats to independence? एक एक करके बताओ, कोई भी याद आए वो बताते जाओ. Self-interest threat, very good. Self-review, very good. फिर self-interest, self-review. Intimidation, very good. Intimidation or advocacy, very good. और जो क्वेश्चन में है वही familiarity. Okay, these are the 5 threats to independence: self-interest, self-review, intimidation, advocacy, and familiarity. This is one of the most important topic in this chapter. इसमें theory question, MCQ question, case study question in any form and structure question can come because this is a very important topic. So यहाँ पे question पूछा familiarity threat के बारे में. What is familiarity threat? Familiarity threat is simple, that as an auditor, you have been associated for too long with the same person, with the same thing. So you have developed a little sympathetic soft side for them, or you are accepting gifts from them. So this question is asking you to give examples. So familiarity threats, ये तो ऊपर ही है पूरा, same copy paste है, self-evident is copy paste. This can occur in many ways. How can you become familiar with a client? Either close relative of audit team is working in a senior position in client company, or former partner of audit firm became a director or senior employee of the client. Long association between auditors and their clients, or acceptance of regular gifts and hospitality from client's company. All this can creates familiarity. What things create familiarity? I have been working for you for very long. Familiarity. My team member is associated with the client as some director or relative. Familiarity. My old partner has become director or employee in the company. Familiarity. आई एम रेगुलरली एक्सेप्टिंग आपका फार्म हाउस है, वहां पे मैं रेगुलरली जाके मेरी फैमिली के साथ में समर स्पेंड करती हूँ. गिफ्ट्स एंड हॉस्पिटैलिटी यू आर बीइंग गिवन, दैट इज आल्सो फेमिलियरिटी. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. CFRS has accepted audit of financial statements of the entity. According to standards on auditing, the auditor is required to send an audit engagement letter to the entity. What are the key areas that should be included in audit engagement letter? Under what circumstances is auditor not required to record the terms of engagement in such engagement letter? पहले तो ये आंसर बहुत ही easy है. Key areas. Content key areas of audit engagement letter. Okay. Simple. कोई भी audit engagement letter है, any audit engagement letter is there, it should have objective plus scope of audit. Second, it should have responsibilities. Responsibilities किसकी? Auditor की. And responsibilities of management. Then it should have, this is 2, this is 3. Then fourth point, it should have what is the applicable financial reporting framework. And fifth, it should have reference to form and content. मतलब रिपोर्ट का फॉर्मेट. आपको रिपोर्ट किस फॉर्मेट में चाहिए, उसमें क्या क्या होना चाहिए, रिपोर्ट में क्या क्या कवर होना चाहिए. So what are the key areas? Objective and scope of audit, responsibilities of auditor, responsibilities of management, what AFRF is applicable on you, and reference to form and content of the audit. बहुत ही simple. Okay, so key areas: objective, scope, responsibilities of management, responsibilities of auditor, AFRF, expected form and content. This need not be in detail if you are being appointed auditor under some law. So agar I have been appointed auditor as per Companies Act, then can I create my own responsibilities or the responsibilities are given already in Companies Act? बताओ मुझे, क्या मैं अपनी टेलर मेड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज बना सकती हूँ, या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, लाइबिलिटीज सब कुछ ऑलरेडी कंपनीज एक्ट में कवर्ड है? बताओ जल्दी. ऑलरेडी कवर्ड है. तो ये क्या बोल रहा है? If law regulation prescribes in sufficient detail the terms of audit engagement, then the auditor need not record them in a written agreement except for the fact that this applies and that we are acknowledging and understanding. So you need not write those things. Does this mean you don't have to give audit engagement letter? क्या इस sentence का interpretation ये है कि आपको audit engagement letter देना नहीं है? What does it mean? ये sentence का मतलब क्या है? The fact is to be recorded. What does this mean? First tell me, does it mean that audit engagement letter we don't have to give? First tell me that. Does it mean that audit engagement letter need not be given? No, it does not mean that. We still have to give. But instead of writing responsibility of auditor, responsibility of this, it will mention that the responsibility of the auditor and management will be as per Companies Act, and the management understands it, acknowledges it, and accepts those responsibilities. Do you understand it now? The fact that such law and regulation and management acknowledges and understands. Okay, next question. Truthful Products Private Limited is engaged in trading stationery items. During the year 23-24, there was a huge fire in one storage location of the company, resulting in the loss of inventories of rupees 5 crores. As a result, the operations of the company were badly affected for about 2 months. Unfortunately, the insurance claim of the company was rejected due to certain defects in the policy issued, and loss was booked by the company in the year 23-24 itself. There was no change in the nature of business of the company in relation to last year. The draft financial statements say below. 23-24 में ही हुआ, 24 okay. Revenue from operations 80, इस साल 100, net profit 6 and 10. Okay. CDA, who has been statutory auditor for past 3 years, has decided to rely upon the same test of details as performed previous years. In the given situation, what is lacking on the part of the auditor? पहले तो बताओ ये टाइप 1 है, टाइप 2 है, टाइप 3 है? टाइप 1 है, टाइप 2 है, टाइप 3 है? टाइप 3 फुल्ली खुद ड्राफ्ट करना है. सो ये सब हुआ है कंपनी में. ओके, ऑल दिस हैज हैपेंड इन द कंपनी. CAD is statutory auditor for 3 years. They are relying on same test of details as performed previous year. First tell me, is it right or wrong? Is it right or wrong? Same test as the past 3 years he is doing. Same method. Wrong. Can anyone see just this and बताओगे कि ये does it appear to be okay? ये सिर्फ देखो individually. Just see this revenue and net profit. Does anything appear to be out of normal in this? Or it appears to be normal? पहले ये बताओ. Does anything appears to be weird? Kuldeep is saying sale has increased. Okay. And profit has increased. 7.5 to 10%. अब इस साल में 5 करोड़ की इन्वेंट्री भी चली है, 2 महीने कंपनी बंद भी रही है, इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी ने क्लेम भी नहीं दिया है, और फिर भी सेल भी इंक्रीज है, प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज भी इंक्रीज है. डू यू थिंक इट अपियर्स टू बी नॉर्मल, या इसको हमें थोड़ा डिटेल में थोड़ा स्केप्टिकली चेक करना चाहिए? डू यू थिंक दिस अपियर्स टू बी नॉर्मल? नो. डू यू थिंक ऑडिटर शुड हैव डन सम स्पेशल प्रोसीजर्स दिस ईयर? Do you think he should have done more analysis, more test of details, and he should have applied his professional skepticism more? So what did he not apply? यहाँ पे क्या missing है? यहाँ पे there was a missingness of professional skepticism by auditor. Now see the answer, how to draft it. This is the full drafting answer. Maintaining professional skepticism throughout audit is necessary. If auditor wants to reduce risk of overlooking unusual circumstances, using inappropriate assumptions in determining nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures. In the given situation, revenue from operations of the company has increased from 80 to 100 crores, despite its operations being affected by fire for 2 months. Further, despite loss of inventories of 5 crores, financial statement reflect an increase in net profit from 7.5% to 10%. Thus, the approach of CAD lacks professional skepticism. In spite of these unusual circumstances, the auditor has decided to rely on same test of details. The nature and extent of audit procedures need to be altered considering the change of circumstance. He may have to include substantive analytical procedures to analyze variations and seek necessary explanation from management. In case of doubt about reliability of information or indication of possible fraud, standards of auditing require auditor to modify his audit procedures. CAD, the auditor of a listed company, should document the overall audit strategy, audit plan, any significant changes made during engagement, and the reasons for such changes. आप समझ में आई बात? Answer is not difficult, but यहाँ पे आपको identify करना है कि ये एनालिसिस करना चाहिए था. एनालिसिस किया नहीं किया, मीन्स क्या फॉलो नहीं किया? लॉजिक फॉलो नहीं किया. कि इतना लॉस होने के बाद भी प्रॉफिट कैसे मेंटेन्ड है, तो स्केप्टिसिज्म फॉलो नहीं किया। स्केप्टिसिज्म नहीं फॉलो करते तो क्या करते हैं हम, ओवरलुकिंग अनयूजुअल सर्कमस्टांस, इनअप्रोप्रिएट assumptions, सब मिस हो गया। ओके, so you have to use that language and mix it with the question and write down the answer. Of course हर किसी का आंसर अलग अलग होगा यहाँ पे, so it's okay if it does not match the exact book, but the crux should be same. Okay, the crux should be same. Next, CA Rohit is conducting the audit of Taste Limited, a food production company, for the last 2 years. Before commencing the audit for the year, he observed that the company has undergone a major shift in its product line by expanding into pharmaceuticals. Okay. Besides this, the company is now subject to new regulatory reporting requirements. These developments were not present at the time of accepting the initial audit engagement. CA Rohit is of the view there is no need to issue a new audit engagement letter. Explain the viewpoint of CA auditor as per the relevant standards. किस स्टैंडर्ड का क्वेश्चन है पहले आइडेंटिफाई करो, विच स्टैंडर्ड क्वेश्चन इट इज, विच स्टैंडर्ड फर्स्ट आइडेंटिफाई, SQC 1, ऐसे 210, ऐसे 200, so this is ऐसे 210 question, correct पूजा। okay, so Pooja has given the answer, ऐसे 210 question। इसमें एक पॉइंट था जिसको कहते हैं रिकरिंग ऑडिट्स। okay, if you see the book, yeah, ये टॉपिक आपके बुक में है डायरेक्टली। Factors to be considered for revising terms of engagement if there is a need to remind the audit entity, which means usually what happens in Companies Act, we are appointed for 5 years. Yes or no? Now, at the start of my appointment, I might have given audit engagement letter for 5 years already. But what has happened in this company? They have introduced a new product line. They were originally food production company. Now they are making medicines. They have started getting new regulatory reporting on them. It was not present at the time of initial audit engagement. Do you think that the old audit engagement letter should continue? Do you think the old audit engagement letter should continue? पहले ये बताओ हाँ या ना में, yes or no? No. So it is asking that in as per standards, in which situation do we need to give a new audit engagement letter? I'll tell you when you need to give, when there is a change. Change in what? Change in senior management, change in ownership, change in nature, size of business, change in legal and regulatory requirements, change in AFRF, change in management, ownership, nature, size of business, legal, regulatory requirements, AFRF. Has these changes happened in the company? क्या यहाँ पे ये changes हुए हैं? Yes. So do they need to give a new engagement letter? Yes. Okay. So आप क्या लिखोगे आंसर में? ऐसे 210 explain करोगे? The auditor may decide not to send engagement letter for each period, but the following factors make it appropriate to revise the terms. So मैंने आपको ये वाले points बताए. Change in senior management, change in ownership, change in size or nature of business, legal entity, change in financial reporting framework, change in any other reporting requirement. Other than that, when there's an indication that entity is misunderstanding something or there is any revision in the terms of audit engagement. So in these situations, you cannot say ek baar bhej diya ho gaya, no. In these situations, you need to revise and send a new audit engagement letter. Up, they are asking you examine the viewpoint, which means we have to give a conclusion. We have to give a conclusion. It means in the given case, Taste Limited has gone through a major shift in its product lines company is also subjected to new reporting standards. In view of the above factors, it is appropriate to revise the terms of audit engagement as per SE 210. Thus, the viewpoint of CA Rohit regarding no need is not correct. कभी भी याद रखना, क्वेश्चन में आपसे ओपिनियन पूछी है तो कंक्लूजन देना है सेपरेटली. All right? Conclusion needs to be given separately. Next question. We are on question number 7, okay? Pay attention. C.A. Sudhakar has been appointed as the auditor of Amro Limited. Before accepting the appointment, he learns that his cousin, who held shares in the company and recently passed away without children, named him as the nominee for these shares, which have substantial value. Although holding such shares through a distant relative does not violate legal provisions or affect his independence, this unexpected inheritance places him in a dilemma on how he should deal with the situation and safeguard his. First, tell me, is there a problem if he has received shares? High value, substantial value of shares, he has become the inheritance. He has got an inheritance. Which threat is it creating? Jaldi batao. Which threat is it creating? Self-interest threat. Very good. You are yourself holder of such a big amount value of shares. You will not want the company to fail. You will know the internal details about the company before other members of shareholder. So of course you are now in a position of disadvantage. Hence it affects your independence. So what does the situation say? The given situation, holding shares by CA Sudhakar involves financial interest in the company and is in the nature of self-interest threat. Though he comes to hold shares due to nomination made by his distance before accepting the appointment, chartered accountants have a responsibility to remain independent by taking into account the context in which they practice, the threats of independence, and the safeguards available. So, what is this? How should he safeguard his independence? That is why you have to write safeguard. If nominal value, then also as an auditor, as per Companies Act, you cannot hold even one share. Okay? You cannot hold any share. Your relative can hold up to 1 lakh, but you cannot hold any share if you are yourself shareholder. Okay? Safeguards are actions that professional accountant takes that effectively reduces the threat to an acceptable level. To address the issue, the following guiding principles are to be applied. For public to have confidence in quality, it is essential that auditors should always be and appear to be, होने चाहिए और लगने चाहिए, be and appear to be independent of the entities they are auditing. Before taking on any work, an auditor must conscientiously consider whether it involves threats to his independence. Conscientiously means on your own, through your own integrity. Consciously consider whether it involves. So कोई भी काम accept करने से पहले check if threats are there. If threats exist, then auditors should either desist from the task, means not take up the task, or eliminate the threat, or at the least put safeguards to reduce the threat to an acceptable level. If auditor is unable to implement credible and adequate safeguards, he must not accept. Considering above, holding of shares of the company for which he is offered appointment as auditor is independence. Thus, C.A. Sudhakar should take steps to eliminate threat by selling the shares immediately before accepting the appointment, and in absence of the same, he should not accept the appointment. So either he should sell the shares, or if he wants to keep the shares, then he has to give resignation or not accept the appointment. So यहाँ पे safeguarding कैसे होती है? First, before you take any work, check if there is any threat. If threat is there, either don't take the task or eliminate the threat or reduce the threat to acceptable level. If you're unable to implement safeguards, then not accept the work. That's it. Okay, next question. Next question, everyone. Luck Limited, a mid-sized manufacturing company, has approached CAS, a qualified chartered accountant, to conduct the audit of financial year ended 31st March 2025. The company requests CAS to give acceptance for the audit so that audit can be commenced within time. With reference to SA 2110, establish how the auditor will establish the preconditions. This is a type 1 question and a very important one. Even when I teach, I always tell preconditions तो आपको एकदम अच्छी तरीके से याद होनी चाहिए. So if you'll see this, preconditions for an audit means even before we exchange engagement letter, even before that, what conditions are to be satisfied. Okay, so if preconditions are present, determine whether FRF is acceptable. So I'll write this down. It's better if I write it down for you, then you'll understand it. थोड़ा note style में मैं लिखूंगी. Okay, preconditions. Please remember it the same way. First, whether FRF is acceptable. Okay. Second precondition is obtain from management that they acknowledge plus understand their responsibilities. Okay. Third, that financial statements are prepared as per AFRF. Okay. Next point is understand its responsibility. Sorry, this is not 3, this is A. That financial statements are prepared as per AFRF. Second, that internal control has been created, whichever is necessary. Okay, internal control has been created, that is necessary. Then C, provide auditor with 3 things. First, access to all information within entity. Okay, additional information. And third is access to persons within entity, unrestricted. So how do I remember this? See, preconditions kya hai? Whether FRF is first acceptable or not. Second, you have to obtain from management that it acknowledges and understands following responsibilities. What are the responsibilities? That financial statement has been made as per AFRF. Internal controls have been created that are necessary for achievement of AFRF. That they understand that they have to provide the auditor with access to all the information, books, vouchers, any additional information that the auditor may require, and access to all the persons within the entity unrestricted. So what is preconditions? Please घर पे मेरे साथ में बोलिए आप वहां पर. What is precondition? AFRF acceptable. Management acknowledges, understands their responsibilities. What responsibilities? That financial statement has been made as per AFRF. Internal control has been created that is necessary. Provide the auditor with access to all information, all additional information, unrestricted access to persons within the entity. This answer should be on the tip of your tongue all the time. Very important question. So what are the preconditions? Financial statement is acceptable. Agreement with management that it acknowledges and understands that this is A, B, C. That financial statement is as per the applicable financial reporting framework. Internal control as considered necessary. Provide auditor with access to all information, additional information, and restricted access to persons within entity. Clear है सबको? Everyone is clear? जल्दी बता दो, याद रहेगा? Can you remember this? Okay. Next question. Now, not much is left. We'll be able to complete it, not a problem. So, question number 9. ABC and Company Chartered Accountants have been appointed as statutory auditor of DEF Limited, which is a listed company for the financial year 24-25. CAX is a seasoned chartered accountant with over 15 years of experience and has been assigned as engagement partner. X takes responsibility for maintaining overall quality of the audit engagement as per SA 220. What do the actions of engagement partner and appropriate messages to other members of the engagement team in taking responsibility for the overall quality of audit engagement emphasize? So it looks like that you have to write your own answer, but if you'll see the book, it is a very, very straightforward thing that when you are engagement partner, देखो जब firm होती है तो SQC1 आता है, बट एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर को फॉर पर्टिकुलर एंगेजमेंट कैसे क्वालिटी मेंटेन करनी है वो आता है ऐसे 220 में. ओके, दिस इज गिवन इन योर बुक. ओके, सो दिस इज वेरी क्लियर दैट यहाँ पे बात हो रही है एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर किस तरीके से क्वालिटी मेंटेन करेगा. So as an engagement partner, how will you maintain overall audit quality? So this can be done when you give certain leadership roles. So there is a question in your book regarding leadership. Okay. So the engagement partner has to take overall responsibility for it. So as a 220 quality control for an audit of financial statements, leadership responsibility of engagement partner is to take responsibility for the overall quality. The actions of the engagement partner, CAX, and appropriate messages to other members in taking responsibility emphasizes on following. First, performing work that complies with proper standards. यानी कि अगर मैं आपकी लीडर हूं एंड कुलदीप, आस्था, पूजा, मुजाहिद, सिद्ध, ऑल ऑफ यू पीपल आर माय टीम मेंबर, ये आपका पहला ऑडिट है, तो मैं आपको मोटिवेट करूंगी ना, देखो बच्चों सब काम हम लोग स्टैंडर्ड्स के हिसाब से करेंगे, हम सारा काम कंपनी लॉ फॉलो करेंगे, आपको सारा काम फर्म की पॉलिसी के हिसाब से करना है. अगर फर्म की पॉलिसी है कि आप रोज एक डायरी मेंटेन करेंगे जिसमें आप लिखेंगे आज आपने क्या काम किया है, तो आप फर्म की भी सारी पॉलिसी मेंटेन करेंगे, आप जो रिपोर्ट है वो सही सही देंगे. भले ये क्लाइंट चला जाए, भले ये हमारा 100 करोड़ का क्लाइंट है, बट जो सही है हम वही रिपोर्ट देंगे. आप डरना मत, आप बिना डर के कोई भी बात मुझे प्लीज बोलना, बट क्वालिटी सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है. एज अ सीए हम बिल्कुल अपनी क्वालिटी पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करेंगे. अब मैं आपको ऐसी बातें बोलूंगी तो आप मोटिवेट होगे ना. अगर मैं आपको ऐसे बोलूं, इफ आई टेल लाइक दिस क्लाइंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू मी, ही ब्रिंग्स 10 करोड़ इनकम टू अस, ज्यादा उसके साथ में मगजमारी मत करना, ज्यादा उससे ज्यादा सवाल ववाल मत करना, जो पूछना है मुझसे पूछना, क्लाइंट नाराज नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर मैं आपको ये कह के भेजूंगी तो आप अच्छे से ऑडिट करोगे? इफ आई टेल यू ऑल दीज थिंग्स एंड सेंड यू फॉर ऑडिट, विल यू डू ऑडिट प्रॉपरली? Of course, you'll not do. So, as a leader, what is my responsibility? It is my responsibility to tell you that please perform all the work as per standards, as per firm's quality control policy. Issue the audit report that is correct as per circumstances. You can raise concerns without any fear of any punishment. And I will tell you that quality is very important. I will tell you the importance that if I don't give a correct quality audit report, tomorrow a bank will give loan of 20 crores and they will lose the loan because I gave a wrong audit report. So I have to give good quality report so that the chain, पूरी चेन में किसी को नुकसान ना हो, इन्वेस्टर्स लोग शेयर ना बाय करें ये सोच के कि ऑडिट रिपोर्ट अच्छी क्वालिटी की है. सो ये इंस्पिरेशन डालने की, बढ़ाने की जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? ऑडिटर की. क्लियर? ओके, नेक्स्ट. CAH is managing partner. This is our last question for today. Question number 10. CAH is the managing partner of HK and Company, a chartered accountant firm having registered office at Delhi. With the annual task of reviewing whether any threat to independence is observed in the firm, CAH has noted down following observations received from staff and partners. CAJ, partner of the firm, performs statutory audit as well as non-audit engagement for Measures Takeaway Limited. कौन सा threat है? पार्टनर फर्म ने स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट भी किया है और नॉन ऑडिट एंगेजमेंट्स भी किए फर्म के साथ में. कौन सा थ्रेट है ये? जल्दी बताते जाओ. सेल्फ रिव्यू थ्रेट. एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट पूजा. सेल्फ रिव्यू थ्रेट है ये. Second, CAM, partner of the firm who has done income tax audit for Messrs. Happy and Associates, wherein CAM has material significant indirect financial interest. कौन सा threat है? Question में ही दिया है कौन सा threat है. Self-interest threat. Next, the cost of air travel and stay accommodation of the family members of audit team for audit of Chennai was borne by the client. Gift and hospitality, कौन सा? Familiarity. Very good. One of the clients, Messrs. Chalk Limited, threatened to replace them as auditors because the audit team insisted. Threatened word आते ही कौन सा है? Threatened. Very good, Balamurgan. Intimidation threat. CAN, partner of the firm who audited Messrs. NM Private, became arbitrator for dispute between NM and one of its vendors. आप ही arbitration कर रहे हो, आप ही उनके बीच में समझौते करवा रहे हो. Advocacy threat. Very good, Pooja. Very good, Bala. Kuldeep also correct. CAN accepted the assignment of tax audit on behalf of firm of TRF Industries. Management agreed to pay him contingent fee for tax audit. Contingent means starting में वो आपको advance fees देने को ready होगा, इसलिए आपने उनका काम accept कर लिया. Self interest. Very good. Very good. So यहाँ पे we have finished the revision. Asta, this is like an irrelevant sentence. SA 220 applies only if SQC1 applies. ऐसा नहीं है. सारी CA firm पे SQC1 तो apply होता ही है. SA 220 मतलब ऐसे ये sentence का कोई use नहीं है आपको. So you don't create the sentence in your head, okay? Okay. Anyone else? So we have done 2 chapters today, chapter number 9 and chapter number 11. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. We have covered all these points in detail, in depth we have done. Okay. We have done fully. Okay. I attended mock test of institute and scored 58 out of 100. Good, Kuldeep. Good. You can improve, but this is not bad at all. आपको you must note where your problems were, कहाँ पटके हो और उस पे मेहनत करना. Okay. Ensure that you work hard on the areas where you struggle during the exam. I don't have model test paper with me right now. Yes, Bala, I'll remind again for chapter 4 notes. Yes, Astha, you can speak. Yes, please, Astha. I don't have it. You can say it out loud. Astha, I'll unmute you. Hello? Astha? Hello? Can anyone hear Astha?
Yes.
हाँ आस्था, अब आवाज आई, बोलिए.
Ma'am,
Hello.
there is a case scenario. The question is that considering the matter of verification of inventories, which of the statement is based on the fact described in the situation and also in the sense of standards on auditing?
Okay.
Ma'am, the situation is that her plan also included performance of certain procedures pertaining to verification of inventory. Inventories of FMCG goods were material to financial statements. Her assistant, Tisha, had her own notion about understanding of sufficient appropriate audit evidence. She further feels that when audit evidence is obtained from available records of an entity, it is known as internal evidence like purchases bills of FMCG goods. Ma'am, In the case there is nothing written about any specific standards or the specific evidence that procedure that we have
Okay.
to follow. The
Okay.
point options are: she should verify subsequent sale invoice of inventory items lying in the stocks as at year end. Besides, she should also review stock records of the year 22-23 and subsequent period. Such evidence
Okay.
may constitute sufficient appropriate audit evidence.
Okay.
Ma'am, this option is marked correct, but I suggest the B part. In
What is the B?
addition to that, B is that she should verify subsequent sale invoice of inventory items lying in the stock as at year end.
Hmm.
Beside, she should also review stock records of the year 22-23 and subsequent period. She should attend physical inventory count at year end in above situation. Such
Hmm.
evidence may constitute sufficient audit evidence. Ma'am, just the addition is of the that she should attend physical inventory count at the year end.
It appears to be, your point
So,
appears to be correct to me. She should attend physical inventory count also. I'll see, let me note down what is
okay,
the
ma'am.
exact point you are saying, which MCQ and where is it? Let me note down this.
Ma'am, model test paper number 2.
MTP, MTP2, right? Model test paper number 2. Which
Ma'am, not
question?
model test, model test. Case scenario third, question number 11.
Case scenario third, question 11. Okay, I'll see this. एक बार मुझे पूरा case study पढ़ने दो. And let me see which question comes. I'll ask और किसी में या किसी भी lecture में or anyway we will upload it the answer. ठीक है ना? आपका question we'll solve. Okay, Astha?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Any other question? Yes, Kuldeep, what about this question? What is the problem in this? Usually you have to mention the way it will be calculated. So if you don't mention the remuneration, at least you should mention the way it will be calculated or the way it will be decided upon. Otherwise, it can be increased or decreased based on the work. If zyada work is there, they might say zyada le lo, kam hai to kam le lo. So it should, even if it does not mention the amount, it should mention the way it will be calculated. In Companies Act, there is clarity on this in section 142 that if you are appointing, then it is important that the mode of calculation of revenue or remuneration is mentioned in the appointment letter. Okay. So you cannot just write it will be as per mutual discussion. Which page? I don't have the page for this also. What notes, Astha? Study material, which chapter? Chapter 11 or chapter 9? Chapter 9, page number 9.9. हाँ, इसमें कौन सा? ये वाला note, the one you are seeing on the screen, is that the one, Astha? C&AG Act has provisions for relieving him of this responsibility to give information and render assistance to union this thing. The C&AG shall, insofar as the accounts for the compilation of keeping for which he is responsible, enable him so to do, give to the union government or to the state government or to this as the case may be, such information as they from time to time require, and render such assistance in preparation of annual financial statements as they may reasonably ask for. What does it say? That ये थोड़ा स्पेशल है. देखो हमें एज एन ऑडिटर क्या बोलते हैं कि आप कंपनी के अकाउंट्स प्रिपरेशन में इन्वॉल्व मत होइए. But CAG Act क्या बोलता है of 1971 that C&AG can give assistance to the union and the state and can help them on how to prepare their accounts. They can help, he can help them how to compile your accounts, how to prepare your accounts, what points to be taken into consideration, what should be its structure. So C&AG is allowed to do that. Okay. That's it. Anything else, students? Okay, I think there's no other question now. Which means there is a provision कि आप चाहो तो इसमें participate कर सकते हो, आप चाहो तो participate नहीं कर सकते हो. Both options are available. Is that clear? That is why that word is given. That is what the word is given. That is why that relieving word is given. So usually, देखो यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? The comptroller shall be responsible for compiling of accounts. And यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? There are provisions for relieving of this responsibility. तो यहाँ पे लिखा है that you are compiling it, but there is also provisions available that can relieve him of that responsibility. Okay. 9.8 I point 1. Yeah, that is what I told you, Astha. ठीक है? Okay. I don't think there are any other questions left. Can we end the class now, students? Can we end the class now? Okay. Ashok ji, I think there are no more questions left. All the best for your exams. This was your last revisionary classes. All the best. Do well, study well, do writing practice, and do repeated revision for auditing. Okay? All the best for your exams. Thank you, Kuldeep. Thank you for your very encouraging words. All these words motivate us also to do better and to continue giving lectures that you enjoy. Okay. Thank you, Kuldeep. So all the best, everyone. Goodbye and take care. Good night. Ashok ji, we can end the class.